Everyone, hope you all had a good lunch. My name is Jonathan Wylie. I work at Grantwood AA in Cedar Rapids. I'm a digital learning consultant. And the next part of the afternoon, we're going to have a look at what I'm terming green screen classrooms, next level green screen classrooms. And my pitch for this is that a lot of the time when I go into schools and help teachers with green screen, I show them how to set up the green screen, how to position everything, how to get everything set up, and how to make the magic work. And that's usually enough to fill people's head a little bit, and then they're like, okay, I'm done, I don't need any more. But there's kind of like a next part of that, the way to finesse that, the way to make it even better, to make sure your results are guaranteed. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit in this one. Maybe thinking about moving it beyond the idea of green screen weather forecast, okay? Because usually the first thing that comes to people's minds, I was in a school just last week and I was helping a high school social studies teacher and his kids do green screen. The superintendent happened to be walking by and he poked his head in and went, "Oh, green screen, you guys doing a weather forecast?" And I was like, "Well, no, we're not actually," but so moving beyond the green screen weather forecast. So with that in mind, what we're going to start with is a weather forecast. So this guy is a meteorologist. I think it's Ohio. I'm hoping my videos work today. I'm going to pray to the gods of the internet. But in Ohio, he's got a whole series of videos where he likes to do creative green screen videos. So this may or may not work. I might just have to describe all the videos for you today, and we'll see how that goes. This one was, here we go. You can see behind him there is a climbing wall that he has painted green. And as he does his green screen broadcast here, he gets up on the climbing wall and broadcasts with the weather behind him. So let's see if I can put this back on, get some sound out here for you.
The weather forecast. All right, so first we're starting out. It is just a gorgeous day out here today, temperature-wise. I mean, how about this? You doing anything outside, especially after 79 degrees, current temperature, winds out of the north at 10. But the big thing here is the dew point. I mean, look at this, 58 degrees.
So
that is dry, blow dry. When we look across the state and we talk about some of the different temperatures, it is going to be comfortably warm. This is our first headline across the state. What we'll be watching, though, is some rain here late Friday, but then the weekend is looking good. So many of you, I'm sure, have plans for your 4th of July weekend. And so, we're looking at some summer-like conditions, but pool parties, I think, all is looking good. All right, so let's talk about the state numbers. Here we are, 76 around Marion, 71 up here in Toledo. We got 68 here over in Defiance, 79 in Columbus. Chillicothe is at 81 degrees right now, but as you look at the satellite and radar, we're going to break down.
So he does have more videos like this if you look him up. There's another one of him on a golf course, and because the green is green, they project the weather map onto the golf course. So I think if you're going to do a green screen weather forecast, you should maybe try something a little bit outside the box. Maybe something like this, or maybe something like this, which will hopefully work too. So this is a kindergarten kid, and his dad is pretty good with the old special effects and things, so had him do...
Hello Nashville, I'm your local weatherman Cotton Quartz. I'm not an actual meteorologist, but I do know my sight words. Today's weather report is brought to you by the letter C. And also, Pokemon cards! Let's take a look at today's weather announcement using our new weather simulator. All I have to do is click this button. So cold! Is there something behind me? Aw, this is more like it. It's cloudy today in Nashville with a slight chance of rain. The high today will be 51 degrees, with a low of 33 degrees this evening. But warmer weather is on the way. Yesterday was the first day of spring, and you know what that means. Spring break!
Alright, so I like that video a lot. I think there's a lot in there. When I watched that a few times, I started to think, you know, a lot of what we think of is making up a good green screen production are actually in that video. So I'm going to unpack it a little bit with some things and some tips and ideas for you, and then I'll move on to like some other classroom examples of things that I've seen around. So one of them is to use video backgrounds, as we saw in this part of the video. I think a lot of the time it's easy just to find like a static background and put that behind someone. But if you can find a video background, I think it adds a little bit more realism, a little bit more authenticity, and helps sell the illusion of green screen, okay? So I went through my resources and I picked out some places where you could go and look for some video backgrounds that you could use. So lots of different examples on there. You know, throw a little shout out for the iClipArt, the AEA online resources. They do have like some motion backgrounds and things that you can have for sure. Other places for photos and videos, I listed some places up there, but I do see a lot of people using pictures as backgrounds, and that's great because it works really well and they're really easy to find and put in. And I think especially on the iPad, I'm not going to play this next video, but I'll just let you know, I put it in here as a demonstration, like, because a lot of people do green screen on iPads, and getting videos to download to the iPad or getting them from a computer to the iPad is kind of a problem. So I made a short video here. There's an app called Documents by Wylie. It's basically like a file manager type of app, and what you can do is it has a browser inside the app. So you can go to a website like Pixabay, and then because you're in this app, if you hit the download button, instead of just like playing the video like it does in Safari or something, it will actually pop up a link and say, okay, I'm ready to download your video, where would you like me to put it? And it saves it in the app, and then you just say move to photos, and it goes over to your photos, and then you can just bring it straight in. So that's a kind of a nice kind of workaround for an all-in-one solution if you are doing green screen on the iPad. If you're using Chromebooks and doing WeVideo and things like that, then that is absolutely great too. You can just download it straight to your Chromebook and upload it again into WeVideo, or save it to Google Drive and bring it over to WeVideo. So think about video backgrounds for sure. This is another tip that I definitely try and encourage people to do, and that's to have some kind of tripod or mount for your camera recording device, whether that's an iPad or a digital camera or a smartphone or whatever you're using to record your video. There's lots of these mounts that will just fit on any kind of regular tripod. And there is a bit of an unusual effect you get when you are filming green screen, and if your arms start to waver after a while, because the background stays constant and the subject starts to like sway around a little bit, and you get this kind of seasick motion sickness type of effect if you don't have like a sturdy, steady background. So tripods are reasonable. You can get any kind of photo tripod or video tripod. They don't need anything special because most of what you're going to be filming with is going to be fairly light. If it's a mobile device or a digital camera, you can just stick on there. The mounts themselves will range in price. Like this one in the bottom right hand corner, that's one of those iOgrapher ones that have got two big handles on the side. But they've also got like a screw mount on the bottom for a tripod. You can pay a lot of money for some, you can pay not very much for some. Like this one down here, we have a couple of these at Grant Wood, which I believe is, I want to say, somewhere between $10 and $20. Now you've got $10, and it will fit all kinds of different things. It expands and comes in and out. It's not like the world's most amazing mount, but at the same time, it's $10. If it breaks, you can get another one, and it wouldn't cost much money. I also like to show teleprompter apps as well. So these work on mobile devices. There's some for iOS, some for Android, some for all kinds of different things, where you put what the students are going to say into a teleprompter app, and you hold this next to whatever you're recording with. Okay, so it looks like they're looking at the camera, but you get as close to the camera as possible, and you will see the words scroll up and down. And save you writing them out on big sheets of paper. Depending on the app you get, some of them will let you import it from cloud services. So if they write it in Google Docs or Microsoft Office, some of these will let you pull it straight over, so you don't even have to do it. Otherwise, you can do some copy and paste to just paste those things over. So I put some options on there. Most of these are iOS options, but for example, Parrot Teleprompter, that's the one that's trying to play on the video here. That's a free app. Pages for iOS has now got a built-in teleprompter part, which you may have not seen before. If you go into the settings, you'll find that there's a way to turn your text document into a teleprompter inside Pages. If you are looking for something a little fancier, it's kind of fun, try Prompt Smart Lite or Prompt Smart Pro, because those are voice activated. The teleprompter will move according to the voice it hears, and when you pause, the teleprompter will pause. Because the first time you try these out, you'll be like, the kid will be like, wait, and it goes too fast or it goes too slow, and they are trying to talk and wait for the words. So teleprompter, Prompt Smart Lite Pro will paste it according to the voice it hears. When you turn it on the first time, it says scanning for voices, and it just scans the area just to make sure it's got a good base level. And then when you start talking, it recognizes the word you're talking and will move it at the pace the person speaks. So, some useful apps there to try. Here we go. Alright, this is maybe not as obvious from this slide as what I'm talking about here, but if it's possible, I think it's always a good idea to let the people who are standing with the green screen behind them see what is behind them. So you maybe notice it in the example of the weather forecaster. When he was getting up on the wall, over on the side there was a monitor on one side, and there's probably one on the other side as well, so that when he's up there, he can't see what's behind him. He doesn't know where 65 degrees is or where Columbus, Ohio is. He's just got green behind him, but he looks over at the monitor on the side there, and you'll see this when you watch the news. You'll do this, and they'll be looking over there, and then they'll look at you, but that's just so they can get a frame of reference of what it is they're looking at. So, a good way to do that is if, let's say your projector, your computer or an iPad or something, plug it into a projector, shoot that way, put the green screen here. So that when the kids are standing here with the green screen behind them, they can look at the projector and they can see what is behind them, so they know exactly where to stand, or if they're standing in front of something that they don't need to stand in front of. And there's ways to fix that if you don't have that facility. We'll try and talk later on about moving and resizing people around the screen, but it seems like a lot of the time you're telling kids, can you just go that way a little bit? Oh, no, too far, just back one. No, like half a step this time, half a step. And because they have no idea what's behind them, but you can see on the screen on the iPad or the camera when you're filming and what it looks like on your side. So if you can, show people what is behind them on the screens. Avoiding shadows is always going to be good. Sometimes if you stand too close to a green screen, it's going to give you like a little shadow outline that you can see behind your head and around your shoulders and things. And that just makes it a little bit harder to do the chroma keying, because you want, as much as possible, the color behind to be one shade of green. You don't want like a dark green and a light green. And if you have like some ripples and wrinkles in your green screen, then that will cause shadows as well, and you have different shades. And then so when you do the green screen, it gets a little bit fuzzy in certain areas. Have you ever seen fuzziness on there? It's because it's like a different shade of green, and it's taken out all the green apart from that little fuzzy part on there. So we've got some of these kind of clamps. I think they're studio clamps they're called. They're not very expensive, and you can use those to like pull it tight and just clamp those on the side of a frame or something. Okay, if you have a frame for your green screen. If you've got a painted wall, then you should be good most of the time. Just don't have the kids stand too close to the wall. But if you can avoid shadows as much as possible, then that's going to stand in your good books too. And a couple more little tips I think here. So audio is an important one too. I saw this survey that somebody did where they had two control groups of people, and they showed them two videos. One was good video with bad audio, and one was bad video with good audio. And the one that people could tolerate the most was bad video with good audio, because people find bad audio really difficult to process in their brains. So it's not actually all that hard to make the audio quality better in a green screen video. You just usually need some kind of external microphone that is going to replace the one that's built into the recording device. So there's definitely some options up here you could take a look at. People at Grantwood know that we have some of these, and you can see some of these. So I'll give you an example of one of them. This is just a pretty simple, straightforward one. It's not hugely expensive, but it's still $60. It's called the iRig mic, and it plugs into the headphone jack of a mobile device. And then it gives you, like, I don't know, maybe a 6-foot cable or something like that, and you can have that and talk further away from the device and get some decent audio. We've even got like some of these types of deals too. This one is like a lapel mic, okay? So you can put that on somebody's clothing, and they look a lot more like a newsreader or something. You can hide the cable inside a jacket or something like that. It looks a lot more professional. A nice gentleman at the back of the room there. Aaron showed me this one, where you can plug like an XLR microphone, like one of those that you might have for like a PA system at your school. You can plug those types of microphones into mobile devices with something like this too. Again, it goes into the headphone jack, and it turns a microphone you might already have into a microphone you can use to record with your mobile devices. So, some options on there. I'm not selling any of these. I'm not getting commission on any of these, but take a look, and you'll find some things out there you can use. Contact your AEA. They might have some that you can borrow as well. And of course, don't wear green. All right.
Blair, I know, just a little bit, you're going to tell us about your wardrobe malfunction at the wedding, Kim Kardashian's wedding, and then you had one a short time ago here. This is real. The green shirt you were wearing, and it just, yeah. TV 101, my friend. You can't wear green. Do you see that?
That would have been a great set, thanks. No green on the green.
That's right.
Even the professionals make mistakes, right? So that's a fun one to see, and Lara got caught out with that one. It seems one of those colours that I see whenever we're going to do it with kids that either the teacher preps them beforehand, or they just don't wear a lot of green anyway, unless it's close to St. Patrick's Day and things like that. So pretty much you should be okay with a lot of things. Sometimes the odd yellow or greeny yellow colour will get things mixed up on there too. But yeah, don't wear green, or maybe you should wear green. My colleague Gina Rogers has threatened to buy me one of these for a while. You can buy these green screen suits, which is like an all-in-one bodysuit. All right, so we'll start with the guy on the left here with this video. He's got like a little hand puppet. Well, it's kind of an interesting idea. I haven't seen anybody do it yet, but you guys could be the first, and you could let me know how you did. So, see how it works. So, just having a green screen bodysuit on next to a green screen helps you key out some of those details that you don't want to show. So, yeah, interesting. I don't know if I want to. If that's going to be the kind of thing you're going to reuse with lots of students over and over again, because I think it's going to smell after a while and get really hot and stinky. But the other one over here is kind of interesting. This is a PE teacher who cut up like a green fabric in terms to make it like a t-shirt almost. I think it's just like a homemade t-shirt, and he superimposed a picture of like the human body circulation system on top of that. So this is kind of like a kind of mixed reality type of deal, because he's in like a normal classroom setting, but then we can look at the student here or the teacher and analyze different parts of their body. So yeah, it's an interesting idea too. So sometimes you do wear green, and you can do fun stuff with that. So speaking of that mixed reality idea, I think this used to be like a chalkboard. I used to have some of these in my classroom, and I just papered over it and stuff kids work on the wall and things like that. This teacher, Jennifer Wagner, she covered it with green paper and put, kind of white tape and across to make it look a bit like a picture window, so that you could have kids coming up and go, "Oh, look, it's outside, can you see it?" And as you'll see it in the classroom, it'll look like a window, because you can put whatever you want behind that green there. So it could be outside in like fields of golden corn. It could be, a hailstorm in winter and whatever. So you could incorporate different styles of storytelling with just a window. I think there's lots of creative potential with something like that. And feel free to stop me and ask questions. If you have questions about any of this, we can talk about these. This is something I experimented with a little bit over the summer, and I created these art frames that put green paper inside it. And so, in theory, what you could have, for art, you could have kids talking about any painting ever created that you can get an image of. And you could put that on the wall, and the kids could take turns to come up to the painting, and they could talk about it and say what it was that they had there. So I put the Mona Lisa into that frame. I turned it into a bit of a 2-bit magic show in the end, but it's just the ability to, again, that mixed reality type of deal where we've got the real world, that's me standing outside of my house there, and just holding a green frame with the green paper on it. And you can just superimpose whatever it is you want on there, because you can resize the image that you're looking at, position it, move it across into different parts of the screen, and fill up the green screen up for it. There's lots of creative art teachers doing things with green screen. And see if we can get this to work with you. All right, so try not to get too alarmed if you haven't seen this before, but let me show you this one. So that was a green screen I put on the floor. We normally think about sticking green screens up on the wall and pinning them up on the wall and doing things like you can do up on the wall or with the green screen behind it is, but I put the green screen on the floor. That's a piece of wood or something that I just put on top of it, and I'm holding an iPad like this and going, whoa, whoa. I'm wobbling a bit because my balance isn't very good, not because I'm trying to look dramatic. I was going a bit like this, and that's my shoes. And when I first recorded that, it was just a silent video, and I found a good image. I thought, oh, perfect image, all right, nice. But I mean, I think when you put the street noise behind it, and you hear the wind and stuff as well, it adds like a little different dimension to it, and that's a bit more reality. So I don't have that video background, but the audio can. So it made me think, what other kind of things could you do with a green screen on the floor? Could you have kids like looking down a well, or looking down a hole, or exploring some different storytelling ideas where the green screen was in different places? Could you put the green screen on the ceiling? I don't know. Maybe you're looking out and you see a hole in the roof or something. I don't know. So think about where you can put your green screen as well is kind of the idea with that one. This is one I saw on Twitter from Amanda Worsham, and this is her kids, and I call this pizza puppets because that's what they're using. They're using pizza boxes that are folded in two, and they painted them green or put green paper on top of them. You can see some of the materials we've got lying around here, the green paper and the green duct tape, and they made these little puppet characters, so that's George Washington one here, and put them on a green stick. Now I'm told, I haven't tried this yet, I'm not a Starbucks drinker, I'm told the straws from Starbucks are perfect for a green screen, okay? But if you get to your local neighborhood Starbucks and say, I'm a poor teacher, I would like to do this awesome project, can I have like some green straws? And they'll give you some green straws, or you can just feed your habit and go to Starbucks and just get some anyway. And you attach those to your puppets, and because the green straw and the green background, you can make your little puppets dance and move around in front of the screen, and you won't see any of that stuff on there. So, creative possibilities for that. This is a green screen for every student in your classroom, potentially. When in other scenarios, you've got one green screen that everybody has to take turns. And one has to come up and wait their turn, or they're writing on their script, or they're trying to be quiet while everybody else is filming, and stuff like that. This is a portable green screen for potentially every student in your classroom. They could all make their own. You can have that as part of the project for them to do. And at the end of the day, when they're done filming, you just fold them up and stick them in the corner. Use them again some other time. Which leads you onto things like this as well, okay, where you're using some kind of green prop in your production. So do the one on the left here, Harry Potter. Okay, so they're riding on brooms, but really they're just kneeling on like a big green foam piece of furniture, I guess that is. And you can see the kind of before and afters on the side there. And they tagged on this tweet to show me, which is really nice. I always like to see fun stuff like that. And there's something similar over on this side, where they are doing superheroes. Flying down on top of the green furniture again. You maybe can't see this, but on the back of the cape here, there are two green strings. And somebody is pulling the strings, so that it looks like when they're flying, the cape is like fluttering in the wind a little bit too. And that's kind of a nice tip and something to think about. I know I went over to Benton one time, and the kids were doing weather forecasts, and they had extra props and things for them. So like when it was snowing, they like crumpled up little bits of paper, and they were dropping that behind the kids or the green screen. And when it was really windy, they got like big pieces of cardboard, and they did this so that the kids' heads and hairs are blowing. It's like, oh, it's really windy here. And so you can make extra effects with like a bit of green twine or something to pull on the cape, or extra props to make the green screen come to life a little bit too. Here's a fun one. Let's see if anybody can work out what's going on here. Give me a few minutes to work out what we're doing here. Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh. Anyone know how they're doing that? They're painting with green paint. And the more of the picture that gets covered in green paint, the more it's going to reveal of the layer that is on top of it. Isn't that clever? And they just keep going. That's like, so if you watch the full video of this, there's a link to the tweet there that will take you to the full video. It's got audio that runs with it too. And so they filmed the kids just painting this green thing back and forward. But after they did that with the video, they had the kids go back and add a voiceover narration, and they're talking about the artist and the things that he did and the techniques he used in order to create paintings like this, and all the things that they found out when they were studying this artist. So, and it became like a really nice kind of merged project where they're putting the audio and the video together. But yeah, if you just saw the original raw video, you would just see three kids painting green paint onto a white piece of paper. It was kind of enticing after a while. But Vincent wished it was that easy. Here's another video, and I like to show this one. Apologize if you've seen this one before, but this is by a teacher who is in Chicago who does amazing things with green screen and animation in her classroom. She's an art teacher. Her name is Trisha Dubelset, and in this one, she combined stop motion and green screen together. And the video will explain more of it than I could do. But you'll get the idea here. elements together there. So they've got the kids physically painting in there in the digital project, and you know, we have that debate and we talk a lot about how much we're using our technology and what technology should be used for, and when it shouldn't be used to, you know, supplant, when it shouldn't be used to replace other things. And I think that's a great example of that. You know, we don't necessarily want kids only painting on tablets or digital devices when, you know, there's definitely still the skill and art of doing that with real physical paint. Putting them together. I liked how she had the kids all, did you see at the beginning, they all had like roles for each kid. One was a director, one was an animator, one was so each kid in the group had their own role as part of like a movie production would have. So a nice way just to pull all that stuff together. So stop motion and green screen. And you'll see people do things like that quite a lot. Sometimes you'll see like just like a roll of that poster paper, freeze paper, rolled along a table. And the kids will have like Legos and things on there, and because if you just angle the camera well enough that it doesn't have too much of the background or anything, just has that, you can move the Lego pieces step by step and just record a stop motion movie first, and then once your stop motion movie is recorded, throw it into some video editor that will take out the chroma key background for you and replace the background and put things on there too. So lots of different ways you could do stop motion. Green screen, but you just film it first in front of the green and then bring it into the video editor. There's another one on resizing, moving and resizing, which is something you can do in a lot of these video apps. And we talked earlier about how we're telling the kids just left a bit, right a bit, half step this way, half step that way. It's actually easier if you just let the kids stand there and you move them on your side, on the camera side. Okay, so if you're using an iPad, you can, and in the right app, you can just like tap on the student and then pull them to one side if they're not in the right place. And then you're not doing all the back and forward, left and right, and all that kind of dance. But it also lets you do things like this teacher over here did, where students were studying and learning about butterflies, and they got carried away by butterflies because sometimes when you do this green screen type of work and you put the kids in there, they're like the same size as the Eiffel Tower or something. And it's like the scale looks really off or wrong or something. And so I think a lot of these apps will let you like either pinch or click and drag to resize the subject and move them around the screen a little bit to put them in different places. So I think the kids on the left and the top here were sitting on the stool or something, and just green stool and holding up like this, and then you just pinch, resize, and move them around. Over here on the left, there's an example of a video, again from Tricia, and she did it kind of like a little devil on your shoulder, kind of a little conscience type of deal, where they had the kids, and then they had like a mini version of the kids that they were holding in their hand or standing next to their shoulder, and they made a song out of it as well, which I think was kind of impressive. So we'll see if we can play a little bit of this. Let's see the effects.
No, never did this. You know you can't do this. I can't do this. I can try. Please don't give up on me. Don't you ever worry if your work turns out a mess. All we want to see from you is that you have tried your best. This is a place to experiment and learn concepts, don't you know? We don't expect perfection here. There's always room to grow. Don't you worry about it. Don't you fret about it. Won't you try your very best? Don't you worry about it. Don't you fret about it.
So there you go. Different more examples are you can play with scale and have fun with scale and tell different stories with scales of kids popping up above people's heads and think the acting is kind of funny in this too. Kids did well. Another video here, maybe I'll show you this one with the, see if you can turn it side up on this one. This is for the Doing app for iPad, but you can often do it in other video editors too. And it's this idea of using multiple layers in a video production. So in this one, there's 3 layers. So there's the student, there's the explorer here, and then the bottom layer is the map. And it shows you step by step how you can layer up multiple things at one time. So let's go there. So there you go. They added the map, and they're pinching and moving him over on like the second layer here. And then for the top layer, they're going to add the student. So the student can be very big. I'm going to resize the student as well, pull them down size a little bit, and because the app is just taking all the green on here, the next student can talk about the explorer and the map all in the one thing. The other time we've used things like this is sometimes just for fun. At conferences at Grantwood, we'll have a green screen photo booth, and what we'll do is we'll have the background, we'll have the person in the middle, and then in the front, you can put like a little logo. If you have a transparent PNG logo, you can put like the logo of your school or something in the corner down there. Kind of like you see on the news where you have the little Channel 7 logo or Channel 9 logo in the corner. So that gives you the ability to do 3 different layers on there too. So there's things you can do with layers. Things you can do with layers that you maybe not expect. One of them is cloning people, okay? So if you remember, coming back full circle now, the kindergarten, remember you got to spring break? There was actually more than one of him on the screen at one time. And you might have been thinking at the time, I wonder how they do that. And that is the same idea. You're layering up the background. So you record the green screen video, you put a background in there, and you save that as a video. And then you record another video, but your background is going to be the first video. And so now you've got 2 people on screen at one time. And then you could do that as many times as you want. And then you could save that as a video. And then you record a 3rd time, and then you've got the background with 2 people on it. And then you've got 3 people on the video. So you could do evil twins. You could do all kinds of different scenarios. I mean, I did one myself even a little while back. And I did a news report where I was the news anchor, and I was also the reporter out here in the field, and I was also the weather reporter. So it's surreal me just talking to myself. And so there's 2 videos. There's one of me asking questions, and then there's one of me going, and I just cut it to the right part so that it comes into the right place there. And then, even some of it's just like the magic of video and recording separate shots, okay? So that you can switch back and forward, and it looks kind of bizarre, okay? And then there's me doing my weather report as well, okay? And the weather was exactly the same as yesterday, because it was all the weather report was all about cloning and how people were cloning people, and that was kind of the joke. So yeah. So cloning, you can clone people. Why not? Green screen is fun. This is kind of a fun one. This is masking toys. So if you've been a Harry Potter fan, you might appreciate this one. At my local theatre, actually my local theatre is not very local, but in Cedar Rapids they were just showing all the Harry Potter movies again. I think they're still working their way through the Harry Potter movies. But this lets you create one of those moving newspapers, like the Daily Prophet when it arrives and Harry picks it up, and then there's like a little moving picture or animation down here in the middle. So very simple, straightforward. If you do have an iPad in the Doing app, you can do this. You can do this on a Mac or a other device too, which you just like cut out a piece of the picture before you add it in, and it'll create this transparent kind of hole that you can put your video in the middle of. So it makes me think about what historical events could you have your students being a part of. They could, if you can find some historic newspaper front pages and assign one to every student, they could all film something, find a good background that you could put right into a newspaper. And again, they're going to like pinch and resize here and make this fit in here. But we've got men walking on the moon, and then this girl on the moon talking about what would they like to walk on the moon. So very straightforward, and for the most part, it's not hard things, but it's just something different. So I'm just trying to show you as many different examples as I can think of. And if you're looking for more ideas and more examples, I would recommend you take a look at this guy's book. This is Todd Burleson. This came out fairly recently. It came out this year, I think in the summer, maybe just before the summer. I know Brentwood has some copies of these at the Media Centre, but maybe your AEA does too. He calls it a makerspace project book. The first, maybe third of the book is kind of just things I was showing you earlier on about how to get a good green screen, how to adjust the lights, and how to make sure this works and that works. But the last 2/3 of it is lesson ideas and projects for the classroom. And you can look at those and get some ideas for what they might be, how to modify them for your classroom. But one of the things I took away from that book was the idea of app smashing, which is a term that's been around for a while, and it's just using multiple apps to achieve a finished project. Because sometimes I think when we do green screens, we film it and we go, ha, that's done. Let's put it on Seesaw or send it out on email or put it on YouTube or whatever, and that's it. But there's other things that you could do if you just combined it with some other apps. So what if you did a green screen photograph and you put it onto ThingLink and you had all these interactive hotspots all over the page that people could click on and get more information, or click on and see a video, or click on and read about something. So that'd be a way of combining things together. Even if you threw it into a video editor like iMovie and you added some titles and some captions and some music or some, you stitch together all your videos like in my news report and put things back to back, that would be a way of smashing some of those things together. What if you created a green screen photo and you brought it into Canva and you made magazine covers or book covers for a specific book that students were talking about? So you could definitely do that very easily and straightforward. Apps like Book Creator here, that's the one with the scissors on it. Book Creator is a multimedia platform that works on iOS and on the web. It works in the Chrome web browser. You can bring photos in there, you can bring videos in there, you can bring audio in there. So you've really got the possibility of creating a very rich multimedia storytelling experience. If you're looking for a way maybe to share all your class photos or all your class videos, you can bring them all into Book Creator and create a book of your green screen projects your kids did. Flipgrid, you could upload things into Flipgrid and have those as video prompts, or the kids could create things and upload them into Flipgrid and have them all in one grid where you can share now. And just in case anybody didn't hear, Flipgrid is now 100% free. You can do everything that you want to do in Flipgrid for free because Microsoft bought them and made them free for everybody. And the last one I put down there was like Adobe Spark Page, which is an interesting tool as well. It's like how to make one-page websites on the web. They're very beautiful, very well designed. You can bring videos and photos into there. Adobe Spark have this tool called Adobe Spark for Education now, where your kids can log in with their Google accounts or their Microsoft accounts or whatever school account they're using, and they can use it under the age of 13 as well, because they're all copy and FERPA compliant and everything else. You just need your tech director to set that up for you, and you can get in and use all those tools for free. They have a video creator, they have a graphic design tool, and they have this one here called Adobe Page. So think about app smashing as well. Not just think about recording your green screen or taking that green screen photo and we're done. What else can we do with this? How else can we tie it into the other things that we do on Twitter? Do we have questions? Right. Well, I'm going to stick around here if anybody wants to come up and talk to me, but you can find links to the slides right here and resources related to the other things that my team does at Grumpy are all on here too. We do a podcast, we have a blog, we have a YouTube Makerspace show. We're all about creating and finding good ways to share resources with you guys. So there you go. Next level green screen classrooms.